Hello, this is BioEnchanted, and I just want to show off this render I've created now that I've completed the image finally. This is my first completed project in Blender. I started with my initial idea was to create a sort of a parody of a Bloodborne cover art, but that wasn't really working out because of how claustrophobic it is, and I couldn't quite work out. I was going to start it having be kind of in the village in Wario, the peaceful village from the beginning, but I just couldn't get anything looking quite right, so I decided to change my tactic and have him be looking out over the landscape instead, looking out at the volcano in the middle of the island, and then the forest to the left, and what is supposed to be kind of like a path going through the Great Plains, and then there's the river on the right as well that's also on the map. This is just kind of that was what ended up being, of course, with the fence. The idea there is it would be the entrance to the peaceful village. So that was the idea behind this. I'm quite happy with how it's turned out. The mountain was initially brown with kind of more lava-y kind of texture, but I decided to change tactics because I took a look at how dormant volcanoes actually look, and they actually do look quite grey with sort of green streaks where the lava used to be, but where it's now become fertile. So I thought that was quite interesting, so I tried to kind of apply that as well. The river and the path, I tried to kind of apply a sort of a false perspective, so I wouldn't have to make it literally miles of landscape for just a small thing. I don't know how well it works, but I did my best with it. This current early stage when it comes to learning this kind of thing, because it is quite difficult to do. So I'm quite happy with the whole the thickening of the donut and everything like that, and the little fork and the actual character themselves. I actually started with the character because I just wanted to model the character himself, and then just kind of build everything else around it. Because I wanted to just kind of put him in a scene and not just have him be floating in the void. The trees in the back are actually quite amusing because they are based on, they were kind of an early version of the tree in the foreground. I just kind of used them to populate the forest in the back, and then I kind of refined the tree a bit in the foreground, for the foreground tree, to make it look a bit more complete, and a bit more like an actual oak tree. I did some reference images of oak trees and things to give an idea of how it's supposed to look, and tried to kind of replicate that as much as I could as well. There were a few things I've learned quite along the way as well. I'll go into greater detail with them in the behind the scenes video where I show off the actual model itself in Blender and show you how it's actually constructed and things like that. But I did my best to make the temple look like the temple in the game and everything, because the whole idea was it was supposed to be the music box world from Wario Land 3. I'm not very good at drawing, so the textures I just kind of did my best with in Paint.net for the skybox and the path texture and the grass texture and things like that. Which are basically just some basic colours with some noise filters to kind of give it a bit more randomization to it, to make it look a bit more like dirt and grass. I don't know how well it works. I just did my best with it because I'm trying to kind of do what I can without tutorials. Because while there are tutorials how to best do a tree, I wanted to at least try and work it out on my own first. Especially because it was just kind of stuff to fill in the image. I didn't really want to focus too much on, because also, especially if I used the wrong kind of tutorial, end up making a tree that looks too realistic, it would stand out too much and make the rest of the model not quite work. So I had to have everything be about the same level of skill. So this is just kind of me trying to make something internally consistent that looked pretty good. I'm quite happy with how it looks overall. And I'm just quite happy in general with how it turned out. If you want to help support my artistic endeavours, because I've got some other ideas I'm working on in the middle of as well, and I do want to eventually start doing animations and things for the channel with this kind of technique, with these kind of technologies. So if you'd like to support me in that, I do have my Patreon, and of course the behind the scenes stuff will be on the Patreon page as well. So please do support me there, and thank you for your time. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and also join my Patreon. Thank you for James Rossi for already doing so at the BioEnchanted Legs tier.